I feel like sometimes rejection, if it's left unprocessed, it could be like carrying mud or weight on your body that keeps you from moving into the next thing without the lightness and the joy that you need in order to really move in whatever spaces that you want to be in.
You better paint a picture. That's an analogy. Like, listen, is there an analogy awards somewhere? Nah.
Hey yo, pimpin' on the east side. I know this a West Coast beat, but it's a freestyle. I've been kinda stressed and I freaked out. Good thing I got a brain that could reroute. That shit ain't got nothing to do with me.
So,
welcome to Black Person You Famous Yet, where every episode we debate whether or not I'll speak directly into the mic.
if you'll be loud enough.
If I'll be loud enough. 12 episodes and counting.
I know. It's okay. We'll figure it out. Yeah. We're just figuring this shit out for real. Wow. So we are at our final episode for season 1.
Yes.
This is great.
Yes.
We made it.
We made it.
Kind of.
We didn't.
We just have a whole bunch of post-production.
Right. That's part of the creative journey, the unsexy part for the uninitiated. So
Facts. So what are we talking about today?
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
The R word.
Ooh, what's the R word?
Rejection.
It's not sexy at all. I hate that shit.
yeah, real talk, so, but we have these adverse feelings around rejection. However, it is inevitable. It is expected. It is part of life. So you and I were talking about how rejection shows up, I think, as well as ways to navigate rejection.
Yeah.
And also what it can look like when we don't deal with rejection.
Yes.
So
yeah. I feel like sometimes you can be you are the center of your own world, right? And so I'm not sure how it be over there with other people.
Right.
But I feel like as a creative, but not only as a creative, as an actress, that I experience rejection more than the average person.
Yeah.
That it's like you are constantly putting yourself out there to either be accepted or rejected by someone, and that's not normal. I don't think it's like, when you're thinking about it in terms of like a baseline for normal behavior or how people normally operate in the world, it just feels like, people who aren't artists, they have their job that they go to, and you're not always, you're doing your job. You're not always doing something that has to be accepted or rejected by someone. And I really think that as creatives, we really need to be thinking more about the fact that A, we get rejected more than most,
yes,
and B, how we deal with it.
Yeah, word. I love that you brought that point up, because I think even that alone is not something that is really given space or acknowledgement. The fact that we do tend to deal with it more than the average person because it's so inherently tied to our pursuit. Unless you're just creating for yourself and it's just like, hey, I'm doing this to just feed me. Putting yourself out there, working to make a career, to get recognition and all of these things does require that you expose, that you submit to an audience of some sort. And if you want to succeed, whatever that means, yes, you need approval, you need acceptance. And when it doesn't happen 30 times in a row,
right.
it
wears on you.
It wears on you.
It wears on you. It wears on your spirit. You know, it can wear on your self-esteem. It can have you questioning, like, if you're even in the right space,
Absolutely.
doing the right things. And one of the things that I noticed about myself in dealing with rejection, one day I woke up and I was like, oh my God, like, I never really took the time out to process the rejection. And if you think about it in terms of like mud or, you know, or weight, I feel like sometimes rejection, if it's left unprocessed, it could be like carrying mud or weight on your body that keeps you from moving into the next thing without the lightness and the joy that you need in order to really move in whatever spaces that you want to be in.
You better paint a picture. That's an analogy. Like, listen, is there an analogy awards somewhere? Nah. But like, really, because as you were saying it, I was really visualizing, and it's like, you don't have a full range of motion physically, but like in a spiritual sense as well. You're not fully accessing your highest self. At least that's how I think of it. And I love that we landed on this topic, because I also had that same sort of realization recently, where it's like, man, I think there's probably maybe like 6 years of my time in New York, 6 years of unprocessed rejection, because it was so much about, well, we got to keep on going on to the next thing, you know, nigga, you famous yet? Like
that part.
How I don't have time to think about how it feels to not get these things, or to feel so close, or you got the call back, but you know, whatever that looks like, and recognizing the toll that it does take, and how to not live in the feelings, the negative feelings that may arise, and how to move forward. And one of the things I really love that you said the other day when we spoke about this was internalization versus information. And well, I'll let you.
I mean, when we were talking about it in our one of our grounding sessions, I was really thinking about it in terms of information versus internalization. And I think that what we tend to do is internalize the rejection, and internalize it in ways that are maladaptive and not adaptive. And so we start to talk to ourselves in ways that are unkind, you know. We start to say things like, oh, and it really, for me, it became like a worthy or unworthy kind of a thing.
For sure.
So I was like, oh, I didn't get it, so it must mean I'm not worthy. Or,
I'm shit.
Like I'm not good enough. You know, I'm not this, I'm not that. And it becomes this like all or nothing thinking versus using the rejection as information to take into the next opportunity. So it could have been that maybe I didn't get it because I maybe in an audition or something, I wasn't specific enough, you know? So the rejection is not, you're not worthy or you're not good. It's just that maybe your work just wasn't as specific as it needed to be. You know, or the information could be, there are things that I've gotten close to that I didn't get, and the show never happened. So rejection in that way could have been, you know, God's protection from me going through a process of something and then being let down in a major way. And I also think about rejection sometimes in terms of not only information but redirection. One of my favorite games that nobody knows, but you know now. I love pinball. I love pinball machines.
I did not know this.
I love pinball machines. And when I started to think about rejection, I started to think about it in terms of playing pinball as well. You know how like you have, you know, the pinball machine and you have kind of like the two controls that you use to kind of like push the ball, you know, across the way and get points and stuff, right? There's always this moment in really fun pinball machines where you think that the ball is coming to you for you to hit it in a very particular way. And then something comes out of nowhere and bumps it. And in the moment, you find yourself getting upset that, like, it didn't get to you so you could push it that way. But then when it comes out and bumps it and it redirects it, you end up getting way more points that way than it coming down to you kind of just kicking it back up there. And sometimes I think about rejection in terms of changes in direction that give us the opportunity to get more points than we would have if we were just moving in that direction on our own. So
it's and you know there's so I love, thank you for those great illustrations. Analogy Award nominees 2025 right here.
That's for me.
It's I think it's all of that. And obviously sometimes when we're in the midst of feeling rejected or we can't register the nuance of why this might be happening. And part of the difficulty is oftentimes in acting or any other creative pursuits, you're not going to get a why. It's just like, we had this number of people that we were looking at, and this is who we went with. Thank you for your time. If that, you know what I mean? That. So or
you just go online and you see who got it.
Right. Like, and you're left to stew in like all the whys and why nots, and there's value sometimes in maybe knowing, right, and having feedback to say, okay, if there was this thing of me not being specific, let me work on that. But because we're not granted that favor, typically, it's important to be able to embrace that nuance and embrace redirection and embrace that this wasn't for you at this time, you know, or this opportunity wasn't for you. But that doesn't make the exercise itself futile. And like you said, it gives us an opportunity to still gain points in other regards. And when you said points, it also made me just think about experience. You know, like our success, our accomplishment, any progress that we make is not based upon doing something one time, and it never will be. We and that's the challenge, right? It's like we need to be committed to the pursuit, to the attempts, despite the rejections, despite the failures, because that is how we produce and generate success. That is how we connect. That is how we go from an audience of one to an audience of thousands, because we were able to say, like, all right, I'm gonna pick my ass back up. Like, that hurt. You know what I mean? That didn't feel great.
It makes you grow.
For sure.
It makes you grow.
If you're willing to do the work.
If you're willing to do the work, and if you're willing to see it as information,
right,
and not internalize it as an indicator of your worthiness or unworthiness. Like, the whole point of rejection is to make us look within ourselves and pull out those things that have either been dormant, that we haven't used, that we need to use and utilize for the next thing, or for us to decide, oh, like, maybe it's time for me to upskill. Maybe it's time for me to learn something that I don't know yet. But I need that thing.
Look, you talking the talk. I had a conversation with my therapist this week, and one of the things that she mentioned in terms of stretching and creativity and going to new places is the purpose is to get beyond the limits that were set for us. So, yeah. by us continuing on, by us carrying on, by us casting off the idea that we're not good enough, right? That we're barking up the wrong tree, whatever it is, we are able to like go much further than we ever thought possible. But the minute that we're like, I'm not good enough, and we internalize that or we stay with that story, then it becomes true.
Yeah.
That's it. That's you're setting that ceiling for yourself.
And that's why it's so important to not internalize it.
Yeah.
Because once internalization paralyzes you.
Yeah.
And I've gotten into it before, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have been paralyzed by rejection sometimes, and I think that's why it's so important for us to process it. And I love what did your therapist say? That was so good.
It's for us to get beyond the limits that have been set for us.
Yes, and get beyond the limits of what you set for yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
Because we all like being comfortable. We all like, no, striving only happens when you're rejected.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I came to New York having a very like comfortable way that I wanted to be. Like, I wanted to move here, I wanted to audition, and I just wanted to be on shows. But I mean, I still want that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I have experienced a lot of rejection, and that rejection has caused me to go into myself, to connect with God, and to pull on the other things that I'm good at, and to also upskill in certain ways. So I didn't come to New York to be a director, but I've directed.
Yep. Yes. Listen, the redirection.
Yeah.
The redirection. And as I'm thinking about you sharing this, the redirection also makes me think, I mean, it's all along the same line, but expansion, right? I went to school for theater. I came to New York to act, and wanting to be on shows, and had some forward steps and momentum and things like that, and experiencing the toll of rejection definitely derailed me in a very real way that I don't even think I ever really spoke about before. You know what I mean? So, but it also pushed me into new territories, and it also pushed me to expand my vision of what it meant to be an artist, and to embrace that I have many gifts, I have many talents, I have many abilities, and I don't need to be limited to one avenue or pursuit. But also, like, if these are things that I love, that I'm passionate about, that bring me joy, it's important to continue to refine, to evolve, to continue to seek joy in those things. And also accept that, yes, rejection is part of the process, and to recognize opportunities for information to be the thing that's derived or taken away, as opposed to like, this means I need to stop this thing that means so much to me, or yes, that I'm unworthy somehow.
Yeah, it's, at the end of the day, it's growing you only if you let it.
Yeah.
You know how I think about rejection now? I think life is all about perspective, which is something that we're clearly talking about right now. But if I submit to something and I get rejected, I'd be like, they don't know what's good for them.
Word. Suckers.
Like, I make it a them problem all day. I'm like, it's not a me thing. And then I can process it in terms of like, oh, okay, like, what could I have done better?
Right. Or
maybe that just wasn't my opportunity. You know what I'm saying? But a lot now, it used to be like, I used to be like, what do they want? What do they want? Now I'm like, they don't know what they want.
And it's like, and it can be challenging, right? But it's also like, okay, if they didn't want me, like, I get to keep going.
Yeah.
Because creating is essential and natural, and part of my being, the fabric of who I am. So I'm not going to stop it or put a limit on it. This is from a higher power. I'm not going to put a limit on it because man said you cannot or not this time. There's assignments to be completed. There's people waiting on our things, asking on our things, you know, that are gonna be seeking us out, and things that we are destined to put into the world. So why would we deny that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's certainly an opportunity for affirmation, especially when I think you are dedicated to your craft. You know, you do the work, you do the reading, you have your mentors, you're immersing yourself in these worlds to grow beyond the idea of reaching one particular destination or something boiling down to one opportunity. And personally, I love that I can recognize growth in myself. I can recognize that the work that I'm making now is not the work that I was making 5 years ago, and so on and so forth. And the work that I'm making now would not be the work I'm making in 10 years.
Okay.
And if I had allowed rejection to kind of like derail me and sideline me, I wouldn't be doing shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I always remember, I like to remind myself that God is writing my story. And whatever he writes is way better than what I am thinking in my mind, you know, that I want, whatever I believe that I want. And so I think it's important for me to always forge ahead and do the things in my heart that I want to do. You know, apply for the thing, apply for the grant, write the script, do everything within my power, but understanding that God is writing my story and that rejection is a part of the story. And no story is, we don't want to read a story that don't got a little bit of drama in it.
Someone always winning.
You know?
Man, when she gonna skin her knee or something?
You need the drama.
You
You need it. Your story needs it. People need it, especially if you want to get to a place where you want to tell your story. Other people have to be able to relate to that shit. And life is not always sunshine and rainbows. And I think we need to get used to it and become comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that is what's going to get us to our next level.
And I think we also need to be comfortable talking about it. You know, I think for a long time I felt this shame around not crossing these thresholds, or, you know, coming to New York with the wide eyes and the rose-colored glasses, and this is who I'm gonna be. Take me on, world. I'm taking you. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh, okay, this is a little different. But like, what might have my journey have looked like had I given myself space to like talk about, like, man, this has been harder than I thought, or this. You know, and like finding support with other creatives and generating spaces for us to like talk about the experiences that we all go through.
That part.
Like from the biggest name to the unknowns. Like, so not making it this thing that we have to like talk about in secret, or just, again, back to the internalization talk, keep inside and let it sort of eat at us. Meanwhile, we're just throwing ourselves back, you know, to the,
I tell this, I don't think I've ever told this story. I think I mentioned it in my one woman show a couple years ago, but come on. But day 2 of me moving to New York, February the 17th of, I'm not telling y'all the year.
Damn! You been at it for how long?
I'm not even going to date myself like that. Okay.
Mind your business.
Mind your business. But the day 2, right? I step out into the steps of the Bronx apartment building that I was staying in at the time. And I look around and I look at all of the possibilities, and I say, oh, fresh air. And I take a deep, deep breath. And a bug flies in my nose, goes down my trachea, and chokes me. And at that moment, I should have known that this journey was going to be a shit.
Listen, when you said fresh air in the Bronx, I was like, this already, this.
I didn't know. It was day 2.
Yeah, day 2. It was early. She was new, y'all.
I was for real.
Yeah, I love that. That is so picturesque. That's definitely got to go in the memoirs.
It is. But it's tough. You know what I'm saying? Rejection happens, but it's redirection. It's an opportunity to stretch and grow. You know,
Look at us. We still here. We still doing it. We done swallowed other bugs and things. And, and we still going.
Yeah.
Takeaways.
You got some takeaways?
Takeaways. I mean, I'd say the biggest one for me, I mean, just to reiterate, is being able to talk about it. Mm-hmm. Letting go of the shame. It's normal, and you can do a quick Google and you'll find many prominent people who will talk at length about their rejections and experiences with rejection and how they still were able to manage. But it's something that's normal for all of us. So let's normalize talking about it and creating space for support and encouragement and ultimately growth.
That part. I think takeaway for me is don't let the rejections stick to you like mud. Allow the rejection to happen. Take a moment and ask it, what is the information? What information do I need to glean from this? And then move on. But this is we done with internalizing rejection and letting it stick to us and slowing us down.
Word.
So that's my takeaway.
All right.
Okay.
All right. 12 episodes in the bag today.
Woo! We did that.
This has been Black Person You Famous Yet? A production and division of... We appreciate you tapping in, but don't be stingy.
If you were inspired or motivated by anything you heard, please share our podcast
with a friend or an artist you would like to encourage on their journey.